might have clicked on one of my budget, eco-friendly home projects, DIYs, thrifting, meal ideas, or other ways I save money. My channel is about sharing my journey learning, expanding, and my knowledge and skills on ways to be more resourceful and sustainable living and lifestyle while adapting to the challenges in an ever-changing economy. I am sure you too can relate and have similar goals. I love to be creative, and I hope by me sharing my journey through life, we can learn and grow together. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Hi, my name is Megan, and thank you so much for joining me in a day in the life. I am going to be taking a little few things here in the kitchen just to kind of warm up the space. While on a budget, I'm taking these thrifted things or things that I had on hand and just kind of warming up spaces. This specific project that I'm working on, I'm taking this little palette thing that I had from the Goodwill bins and this little hook that I had on hand and a spoon as well that I got from the bins. And I'm just going to kind of create like a triangular space on this little wall here on the back side of this behind me. And I am just going to take a Pinterest or inspiration that I had. I think it was on actually Homeworthy that I found it, but I'll share with you the clip it that I had grabbed to share with you that little interest in taking a little small space and just giving a little warmth. I redid my kitchen about 5 years ago, right when I moved into the house. I just went ahead and flipped the whole entire kitchen. I have that here on YouTube with little clippets along that journey, and I wanted to do it at as low as cost as possible. So I, over time, have just taken the time to do it when I can on the budget that I have. And I found a refrigerator here on the marketplace and swapped out my old refrigerator for this one. And I had an old stove here that's been sitting here since I bought the house, and I finally was able to swap it out with this one. So now all my appliances match. They're not all the same age, but they are matching now, and they look really great in the space. And I did it on a really, really, really low cost. And so I think originally I had spent less than $5,000, just a little under $5,000 on the kitchen renovation, with trying to do everything cutting cost and just trying to find things new at a low cost and used at a low cost. So that is what I did, and I cut corners like the flooring I didn't redo, and I didn't put any backsplash here. So that's why I'm kind of revamping this space right here on the wall, because I don't have any backsplash. I just have been so indecisive about what I want to do on the backsplash. So I just painted it a very, very, very muted white or gray color. And so I went on Pinterest, kind of looked at some ideas, and then I was watching a Homeworthy session and had found this gal. I'll probably just give it a little clip it here who it is, but she's always on there and giving little food tips and hosting tips and things like that. And so when I found this little mallet palette or wood board or whatever it was, I just, was like, well, I can just take off those pieces and, make it my own, and under like $1, essentially, because you pay by the pound at the bins. So I figured, why not just scrape all this off, give it a good cleaning, and utilize that in this space. So I will use that up there on the wall, and then the spoon, and then the hook, and I'll just hang a little cloth. And so it's a little functional space, and it is just a little cozy little nook there. What I have learned in owning a home is that everything takes time and everything costs money. And if there's ways that you can just think outside the box to save money and do things at a low cost, I highly suggest that just waiting on things until you can afford it. Everything that I'm doing here is cash outright. So when I remodeled my kitchen, I didn't pay anything but cash on hand that I had. And everything has come slowly, but it has come together. So you can see here, this little space on the right hand side is just what exactly I was mimicking. And we're gonna just go ahead and put that on the wall. But again, as a reminder that, you know, when it comes to doing things in your home and making it your space, you don't have to completely gut things and completely remodel things, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of money if you think, you know, really thoroughly through how you're going to do a project in your home. And so I've been here for 5 years, and it has really been just projects as they come. And I've just prayed for patience and that I don't have to have something right then and there, as long as it's functioning, as long as it's working, and I'm going to be okay with that. And I'm going to be thankful for that as well. So I just do things as I can, and that's how it goes. So here is how this little space turned out, and I love it. It's just so simple and cozy and functional. And I'm just going to take this other, I think it's like a Pinterest find that I found, and just try to kind of recreate that as well with, again, some items that I had on hand. And then like this lamp here was a Goodwill find. I think I got it for like 49 cents or 99 cents. It was like 50% off Christmas stuff or something like that. And I definitely think that I will eventually redo this, or trying to figure out a different way to give this a little bit more life. But at the moment, I was just trying to utilize stuff that I already had on hand. And so I'm just taking the spray paint that I got from my local under the sink, and I'm just going to spray the lamp portion, and then the shade, I'll just use that cream color. But I didn't like how the shade ended up turning out. And I think, again, that light fixture itself, I'll probably try to recreate it some way, shape, or form. I'm not really sure, but it does work for now, and it does kind of warm up the space. So again, just, you know, if you're wanting to do something and warming up your space or revamping your space, that there's just so many different ways to do things. And if it doesn't turn out right the first time, you can always go back in and fix it a second time, in most cases. I'll probably still play around with this space a little bit and also bring some greenery in the pot, but just kind of showing the idea and using stuff that I had on hand and stuff that I got at the Goodwill, and just recreating that. Now I'm going to be just cleaning and tidying up here in the kitchen, and getting some meal prepping done before the week starts. And I am just going to be making some stuff that I have on hand. This is the time of the year where I just slowly look at my cupboards and my fridge and freezer and just do like a little shopping in there just to kind of declutter and refresh my cabinets after I'm done kind of giving them a good clean out and making some stuff by shopping in my pantry and stuff. So today I'm going to be just making a few things. I am going to be making some egg bites here. They're like the Starbucks dupe egg bites. And then I'm going to also be making some French toast with some leftover gluten-free bread and Texas toast that I had from the holidays, and just using the rest of the eggs that I had on hand. And then also going to be making a baked potato soup, which I won't share in this video, but I had some bacon left over after making the egg bites that I had prepped earlier or later in the week last week. So I needed to get those cooked up and used. So I try not to do a whole lot of food waste, which is why I kind of shop in my cupboards and my kitchen. And so I'm just finishing up here, sorting out and sorting through some of the stuff that might be expiring soon so I can food prep or meal plan for the week ahead. I love making these egg bites for the week for my son and I. They are the Starbucks egg bite dupes, but I kind of just make them as any other egg bites and just kind of put in there what I have in my fridge just to kind of, clean out the fridge per se and get things used up. And to make the Starbucks dupe egg bites as mimicking as possible, I use the cottage cheese that makes them really fluffy and thick and dense. Instead of using milk or oat milk or almond milk or what have you, that is what the milk base would be the cottage cheese. And so essentially I just kind of give it a good blender. I love this blender, by the way. It's like has a blender and a whisk, and it's just so easy to store away. And so if you're looking for something like a blender or what have you, this is a great blender that I have. It was like from Home Goods or something, but I got it from the Goodwill for like $1.99 for the set, which was a steal of a deal. But I had these eggs from the holidays and I just wanted to get them used up. I had, I think it was 7 or 8 eggs left, but anyway, in here I just kind of eyeball things. I mean, you can use a recipe off of Pinterest or some other recipe website, but I just found to just kind of make something first with a recipe, and then if I like something I just kind of memorize it in my head. But this is my go-to. It's like half a cup or 3/4 of a cup, depending on how many egg bites you're going to be making, like 6 to 8 eggs. And that really kind of gives you a 12 count of egg bites. And then I put salt and pepper in there, but you can really just keep it as minimal as possible. You don't have to add salt and pepper or anything. If you use like a cheese, which I use a cheese, oftentimes it has a high level of salt in there anyway, or a higher level of salt. And so I just add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Nothing too major, just a pinch of each. And then I had some cheese on hand as well. I typically don't like to use pre-shredded cheese, but this is what I had in my freezer, and I store this in my freezer because I just don't go through the amount of groceries that I do. So when I buy stuff, I just section it out or just freeze it and just use it as I need it. Cheese thaws really quickly, so just taking out what I need. But in here, essentially, it's already shredded up and it comes apart rather easily when it's still frozen. So I just toss it in there because it's all going to get baked anyway. So that is what I do there. And then I just throw in a protein of choice. Here I'm just using the bacon that I had prepped on hand already that I needed to get used up. I prep bacon and sausage up for a week's worth of time as well. So that way I have a easy protein that I can throw into recipes for the week. I don't do like a huge meal prep. I just do little bits of things, and then my biggest thing is meal prepping protein, because it makes all the other stuff easy to make a dinner with, using vegetables or rice or potato or something like that. That way it cuts down on my cooking time. I don't do whole meal food preps anymore, because it's just what I'm doing now is saving me time, regardless. So, and then I felt like when I was making whole meals that I was getting bored of them by the end of the week. So it would just go to waste. So my biggest thing again is meal prepping protein and utilizing that for the week, because you can mix it in so many different recipes, like a chicken or a steak, sausage, bacon, things like that. It's super easy to throw into different types of things, and you can make it as seasoned or little seasoned as possible. When I usually cook a protein, I usually just salt and pepper, and that's it. So that way if I'm making like a taco or a barbecue of some sort, or things like that, just as an example, I can easily just toss that protein in and make the seasonings from there. So at any rate, I added the cheese, salt, pepper, bacon, eggs, and cottage cheese, that blended cottage cheese, and that's it for this. And it turns out really good. You can use a denser or richer cheese. That's, I think, what Starbucks does if you want it to really mimic the Starbucks. And then you can also add like a spinach or another type of veggie if you want to do that. I'm just keeping it simple here, because that's what I had on hand, is all the simple throw-ins, and it's just as easy and it's just as good. So, but I do like adding the spinach in here to kind of get that green in for the mornings. So I just use a half a cup or a fourth of a cup of a measuring, and that way all the egg bites are even, and then you can just kind of throw in whatever is remaining into the cups as they need it. But yeah, this makes 12 cups, a little muffin cups of egg bites. And then I will show you at the end. I just, as far as like actually cooking them, I freeze them as well. And then I just kind of layer them in a tall jar and put parchment paper or some sort of divider in between each egg bite. So that way, if I am needing one or two, I can easily get that out of the freezer without having to unthaw the whole thing in order to get the egg bites out. There's so many different ways to store it, but that is the way I store it, just for usage of space in my freezer. And then I leave a couple out in the fridge so that they're easy access for the next couple of days. But that's it, 350 for about 20-25 minutes. I check on it. It just depends on your oven and how hot or fast it cooks. Sometimes it can also be used for like 30 minutes as well. So, but yeah, easy peasy. And then I just give the bowl a quick wash because I'm going to be using that same bowl and same fork to make my French toast. I did lose footage of making the French toast, but I use this cast iron griddle. I absolutely love it. I don't think you're really technically supposed to use it for these types of stovetops, but I use it. I just keep it on a lower temp so that way it doesn't like crack the stovetop. But so far I haven't had any issues. I'm not really sure if you can or cannot use them. But again, I'm just using the remainder of my eggs so I can get those tossed out. And then I didn't have any vanilla extract. So, and I do have like milk on hand, but I try not to use milk products for myself. So I just actually use this vanilla oat milk creamer instead. And so I kind of get the best of both. And then I had some cinnamon. I just kind of threw it in there. And really that's it. Just put some butter on the griddle and then just fried those up. And then I have some French toast for the week, or I can freeze it and pop it out and microwave it quickly, or throw it back on the stove atop too when I'm ready to eat it. But I just grabbed the bread and the gluten-free bread that I had left over and gave that a quick cook. That's all I got for today. And if you have a favorite recipe or a favorite meal prep that you like to do, leave it in the comments below. Or do you even meal prep, or have you even thought about meal prepping? I'd like to know. Leave a comment. And if you are new, please consider subscribing. And thank you so much for coming along with me and watching as I go about my day. I hope you have a happy new year, and we'll see you next year. Bye.